My name is Jim Typer. JT works fine. I am a guy that started a lighting production company, Mobile Lighting Group, in Oceanside in '98. So I've been doing this a day or two. And what I do is I take a bunch of stuff. I'll show you. It's in the truck and go to a location where my primary jobs are single camera production and explode the truck, something like this. I'm going to pass around so I can take a look. Then pack it all up and go on my way. And I do that whenever I'm called. I'm an on-call service. And I've been involved in some very interesting and unique projects through that. It's a crazy business. I don't really know. I know this is the more advanced class, right? So I don't really have a feel yet for your lighting experience. For example, are you familiar with three-point lighting? Anybody? Okay, that's a good thing to know. I can work off that. And the different types of lighting instruments. I figure we could talk about that and learn about those. I think it's important also to do a hands-on demonstration here at some point, and we'll work that in, and we'll have a little fun with that. I think what I'll start with real quick is asking if there's any questions. So far, anything special you want me to feature, because I can hit on something if you want me to. Power, different kinds of projects, location, etiquette, things like that. Anyone have a preference?
Can you touch base on all those?
I'm going to try to fit them all in here. I'm going to start with saying about the basic qualities of light, because I've learned that this is an important part. Is that light has, in my opinion, three basic parts. And the first one I would like to say, first one, anybody got a guess what one might be? Well, each light has its own color and its own unique color. And we have ways of adjusting that color. And there are main types of lights that have different colors. This one has a bulb that looks a lot like the kind we use around the house. Well, used to use around the house. Now this one is a tungsten or incandescent light. It has a Kelvin temperature, which is how they measure the color of a light, of about 3200. Actually, it's more of a range of 29 to 34, but depending on the life of the bulb. But this one is the most common light you're going to see on set. The more expensive ones, the fancier ones that take a separate ballast to power them, are mainly called HMIs. Here's a ballast for it. It's a big boat anchor. They have smaller ones now in different configurations, and the technology is always improving. But this blue guy here has a color temperature of about 5600 Kelvin. Again, give or take some. One on the scale, this one then would be daylight, outside daylight, and this one would be the kind we use inside, a little cooler than the candlelight. That's color. The other part of the light, quality of light, is the intensity. You can change a light. There's bright ones and then there's less bright ones, and you can do that with this. Not this one. This one. This one doesn't work. And then I'm going to get to that circuit question. Sorry. I can make it more intense and smaller. That's called spot and flood. And a very good feature, but you got to have all the parts. Okay. I just turned on two lights. Each of these lights has a bulb in it that's 1,000 watts, or 1K as it's called, which is about 10 of your household light bulbs. Gets hot, draws a lot of juice, about 10 amps. And I got both of these going right now. Now if I plug both of these into the same circuit, that would be about 20 amps, which is what your average circuit in your house is. And earlier, I got mixed up with my cable, and I popped one out here. Had to go reset it. So, anybody can do it, but it's important to check and know your power loads and where you're plugging them in. The third part of light that I'd like to mention is my favorite, and it's the quality of light. By the quality of light, I mean they can have different aesthetic values, and that to me is the art of lighting. Now there's often, but not as often as it used to be, stuff used is called hard lighting. Sorry. Hard light is kind of what we see here. Looks like the direct sun on a bright sunny day. We can take that light and change it with different levels of intensity, or not intensity, with diffusion. Here is this one type of diffusion. There's more than I can describe to you, but here's one. You notice the difference of the quality of light on the floor? There we go. There's hard light. There's a little diffused. Now what do you say we try looking at a different level of diffusion? Let's diffuse a little. Let's see that. Let me hold this thing up in front of it. Ah, you see the difference in diffusion there? Now let me ask you this. If I move this away from the source, do you think that will get softer or harder? If I move this away, let's hold on, so do one more thing. Let's change the spot flow. Let's find out. Oh, let's watch. What do you think? The larger the source, the softer it is. So if you want a large soft source, which quite often I do, more times than not, you fill your soft source, and then this becomes the light. This is no longer the light. This is now my light source, which is important to know when you're doing extensive grip stuff. I don't think I'm going to get into here. Okay, but what I am going to do is blind you for a second. Okay. And show you a different way of getting a different intensity. I warned you. Okay, so the different way of getting a different intensity, we're going to get away from the flip side. Which is nice, by the way. I don't quite understand it. Flip side. Okay. You notice there's a different quality of light in this room now. It would be called an indirect light. What I just showed you was direct and softening a direct source. This is an indirect light, or bounce light, as it's often called. And I'm using this to light the room. Look around, we can all see each other. Now you're a little bit brighter in front, you're a little bit darker back there. It's because the source is here. And there's different ways of doing the bounce light, I'll call it. I'm going to use a different tool. For some reason, I call this an umbrella. Have any of you guys used these tools before? Have you even seen this kit? It's hanging out here, so I don't know if you can use it if you need to. Careful, they do get hot though. I have run into problems. Now, okay, different quality of light. Look around, look at the floor. This is a trick that a lot of lighting folks use. If they want to see what the quality of light is, they put their eye where the camera is and look at their hand. Because I can see now a different quality of light on myself. Okay, now this light, if I take it and tilt it down, we notice even a different quality of light. I can see it on you, but you guys can't see it. So let me show you on the camera. It's very frontal, but soft. And it's a different kind of softness than we saw when I put it through the silk. It's a different quality of light. Anyways, my point is that all these, there's so many different ways you can have different qualities of light. But the main parts of the light are its color, its intensity, and its quality. Okay, how about next? Want to talk about different kinds of lights? All right, let's talk about different kinds of lights. First off, these lights, which I've been using here, and I'm going to show you one that's not on, are called open face. That's because there's nothing in front of the face except a little safety thing, because they do blow up, and I've had that happen, and it's not a real pleasant experience. Set some lady's carpet on fire once. Alright, so I got an open face, 1K, 1K open face. This is not secured. Let's plug in now. There are other kinds of lights, other kinds of open face, but we're going to just set this aside, knock the camera, and talk about some other ones. Now, that HMI one that I said was, what kind of light comes out of an HMI? Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoor.
Outdoors. It's that Kelvin scale that they use to measure it, and it's about 5,600 Kelvin. That's important. Now, these babies are more efficient, and they use a different kind of bulb, and that's why they're at a different temperature. And it's important to be more efficient because outside it's a lot brighter, and inside here you need a lot more light, So these are a great invention. But that's not what I'm talking about, this light right now. I'm mentioning this. It's right on camera. This one, turn around and take a look at it. Alright. I'm describing this lens to you here right now. Now this lens, anybody know what kind of lens this is? Or what it is? Huh? Pardon?
Like you're saying, is it?
It's HMI.
No, it's not an HMI. This kind of light is it. But the kind of lens is what I'm talking about here. Because this lens will work on tungsten lights and HMI lights. It's called a Fresnel. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Let me finish on what I was talking about. These get the lenses out of the way so we can finish that. This is a PAR. This is the kind of light that's called a PAR. And this lens happens to be a frosted spot. Now they come in different lenses, but the point I'm showing you this before the Fresnel is you see how it's convex, not concave. It's sticking out like an eyeball lens, or a magnifying glass. Now what kind of light do you think that produces if light comes from a bulb and would go through a lens like this? Well, you remember killing the ants with the magnifier? It focuses all the light in. There's different lenses on these kind of lights that spread it to different amounts, but the idea is this is a non-focusable but changeable lens light that focuses light inward.